Who's starting, me or you?
You.
All right.
It's all a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
Hey guys, welcome to a new series on Take Free Productions. This is a monthly show called Simple Tricks and Nonsense with me and Abe. Because me and Abe have known each other for more 5 years now. I don't know what he's doing. And Manning Franks actually suggested after our Mamma Mia episode we should do a show together. And so we said, all right, because I don't have nearly enough shows that no one's watching on this channel, so might as well. And Abe's sex talk is never being allowed, so he decided this is the next best thing. So essentially, Simple Tricks and Nonsense is a reference to Han Solo, which if YouTube didn't copyright us, should be the intro thing you hear before we start talking. It's just me and Abe talk about whatever we want. Sometimes it might be movies, TV, maybe comic books. Abe, you suggested the topic today, so what topic are we talking about?
Did I suggest the topic? Okay,
yes.
We
live in a society.
You know, this is the first time I actually have a show, like a co-host gig in this channel. Like,
why'd you do air quotes? You are the co-host.
Well, I know I'm the highest position here in Take 3 since the kangaroo and the guy that we cannot name left. Oh, and Kristen left. Well, she hasn't left. I don't think. Okay, we're gonna talk about.
Now I have to edit this out.
I edited it. I'll edit it. Don't worry.
I don't trust you.
Okay. We're gonna talk about underrated comic book movies. Why? Because Matt talk about movies he likes, and I just want to talk about things that I also like a lot. So we're gonna break down every single film. We're gonna talk about 10 films right now. We're gonna talk 6 minutes per film, and we're gonna take it seriously. We're not gonna laugh. We're not gonna discriminate against our co-hosts about the parentship of certain characters in certain movie series. Okay?
Wait, 10 movies? I didn't agree to that. I don't have a list of 10 movies.
No, like you give me 5, I give 5. We have 10.
Oh, okay. I'm not really cut for this. I only have 3 I was coming in here talking about, so I guess I'll just think of 2 more.
No,
so
just kidding. I also just have 3. I just have 3 too.
Okay, so yeah, so we wanted to talk about comic books. We decided to do underrated comic book movies just because, I mean, yeah, could we do an episode on Marvel and DC? Sure, but I mean, I feel like everything has been said about the MCU and the DCEU and the extending, like, I feel like everything's been said about that, you know? Like, no matter what, like, you know, we could talk about What If. I don't want to talk about What If because I have an opinion about one of the episodes that would get me a lot of shit, and that's the last thing I need. I'll tell Abe off air. But so yeah, underrated because comic book movies have been around. If you want to get technical, they've been around since film serials with Kirk Allen's Superman and the old Batman ones, and I think they did like Shazam. You know, around the same era as like Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. So technically, comic book movies, if you want to call them that. But really, it started in 1978 with Superman the movie. So, I mean, that's over 40 years worth of movies. But why just focus on the last, 10 years of movies? No, let's talk about more. And maybe some did come out in the last 10 years. I don't know what Abe's got. So Abe, I'll throw it over to you first. What's your first underrated comic book movie you want to talk about?
Eric Matthew, I know the 3 you want to bring to the table. And I have more recent ones because I have, like, I started to do a little investigation about some, you know, people don't want you to use the word research right now. I don't understand why. Because And like, there's a ton of comic book movies we don't know about. But you know, the first one I want to bring to the table is the most recent one that came out, I guess last year. Birds of Prey, and I'm gonna tell you why. You don't like that? You haven't watched it? What's wrong?
No, I've watched it. It's go say your piece on it, and then I'll say my very fast piece on it.
Okay, so I just want to make clear, like, I'm gonna bring 3 movies to the table, and and 2 of them I don't think they're like this incredible thing about it, but I think people regard it in such a low standard that I think they should be regarded in a better one. And Birds of Prey is one of those. Like, the film is really like, it doesn't have this big scale because it tries to focus on Harley Quinn at all, like at the beginning, and I think it's the best Margot Robbie performance as Harley Quinn. You know, like, we have the Suicide Squad. Have you watched the newest one?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, so when you see it, we probably can talk about how it affects the treatment of anamorphic ocean specimens. Okay, hashtag King Shark, free King Shark.
I know Stallone plays King Shark. I know that.
Oh no, but like, yeah, seriously, like.
Well, I will see the movie at some point. I don't have HBO Max,
like,
and I've been able to get out to the theater to do it because I'm trying to go. Back in 2016, me, my dad, my brother, we went to go and see Suicide Squad, and my dad really liked it. And we don't really go to the movies, just the 3 of us together. So I've been trying to go with my dad. My brother. Problem is, my brother works on Saturdays, so it's like tough to get schedules on Sundays, but neither here nor there. That's why I've not seen it. Not because I have anything against the movie. It's not because I hate James Gunn. It's not because I hate DC. Because, Lord, I'm the last person to hate DC. Yeah, continue on. Or...
Okay, so Birds of Prey, and I think Kathy can make an incredible. Okay. Before, I want to hear your thoughts about it.
So I remember seeing no marketing behind this movie. I remember when this movie came out and it wasn't performing well in theaters, and they went and they did the name shift because originally it was Birds of Prey. Then it was Birds of Prey and I want to say Emancipation of Harley Quinn or something like that.
The Emancipation
something
of
I could be wrong about that. You know. And I remember I didn't see it in theaters, but I remember saying, and there's a late night episode around the time it came out where I talked about the fact that how I was like, I don't remember seeing any marketing for that movie really. And yeah, regardless, whatever. So goes on, comes out to rent. Me, my dad, and my mom, we decide to sit down, we watch it. The problem is, this is like when I talked about the last show. I have the preference. I have absolutely nothing against female-led action movies whatsoever. Sicario's fucking awesome. Wonder Woman is one of my favorite comic movies. This movie bored the shit out of me. It was so like crazy, and it felt crazy because of the editing and not in a this was intentional. It just felt like just like I didn't care about anyone. The little girl, didn't care if she died. Harley Quinn, didn't, because Suicide Squad was back in 2016, and when did Birds of Prey was 2018?
2020.
Or 2019? 2020 was 2020? Jesus. This is, well, I mean, everyone knows 2020 was the longest year ever. It felt like 3. I don't know, there's, like, Margot Robbie wasn't, like, she's still good, and this is the weird thing, everyone was good in the roles. I still think Margot Robbie's a good Harley Quinn. I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Huntress, I believe was her character, I thought she was good. Rosie Perez is one of those actresses who, big role, small role, she always kicks it out of the park. The actress who played Canary, escaping my head, she was really good. I'm totally fine with the fact that HBO Max is even like a series or a movie. Ewan McGregor was great, and it was great to see him play the bad guy in something. But the movie was just so manic and dumb, and I didn't give a crap about anything, and yet everywhere you look, it's the best DCU movie. And maybe I'm wrong, but my favorite DCU movies are Man of Steel, Shazam, and Wonder Woman. And they all got emotional stuff for me. I can't speak for everyone else. For me, they have moments that I cried in Shazam when I saw it in theaters. Like, they got emotional resonance for me, and I'm like, and again, maybe that's just how I watch movies. It's different from other people. More power to the people. If that is your favorite DCU movie, if it's your favorite DC movie, it's your favorite movie. More power to you. I just don't see the merits that everyone else sees. I just saw crazy, manic. I honestly think it probably could have worked better as an anthology series on like Netflix or HBO Max, I guess. Like I just feel like that might have been better. You could have expanded on more Harley Quinn stuff, more Rosie Perez stuff, Huntress, all that. But for me, it's just a movie that exists.
You know what?
It's probably
what
my
I
least
think,
favorite DC movie. Oh,
You know what?
DCEU,
what
not least favorite DC
Okay.
movie.
No, but what I think that happened with Birds of Prey is that it tries to be a Harley Quinn movie before being a Birds of Prey movie.
Yeah, I
That-
agree with that.
I think it's by the 40-minute mark. I don't remember because I had this reaction. Like at the beginning, I was getting bored, but like once the Birds of Prey assemble, to call it one way, like you start really enjoying the film and seeing the positives that it brings. Like if they would have focused,
Yeah,
if
like
the
their
Birds of Prey would've
interaction, like when Mary Elizabeth Winstead just like says "fuck off," like that was a lot of fun. But it's kind of like, imagine the first X-Men movie if like we went like half the movie before Logan meets the X-Men. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, that's what it felt like. It was like, this is really good. Why wasn't it? It honestly, and again, I only saw it the one time, but like, it honestly feels like the last act is when all those characters are finally together and they have the big battle, and that's it.
yeah.
Huntress
That's
is kind of
what
just
happens.
on the motorcycle the whole time in the background. Harley Quinn
Yeah,
feels
well-
disconnected from everything. Once again, this is I apologize. This is your movie to talk
Oh
about.
no, but I cannot. I can see where you're coming from. I think it. I mean, it has some merit, but I think people. I mean, you have your reasons, but some people just bash it for bashing it. You know, like people. Look.
No,
this is-
I agree. There,
Oh, yeah.
particularly for DC, there are, and look, the same thing goes for MCU. There are people who hate simply just because it's popular or it's cool to hate. Like, like there's people who love the MCU who just like it, like Wonder Woman. Oh, that's a terrible movie, or Justice League, the Snyder Cut is shit. But then they'll be like, Iron Man 2 is incredible. Like, it's the unfortunate thing about fandoms and all that, and people just don't have reasoning. Like, they're just
And-
and if you ask them, they're like, okay, why is Iron Man 2 amazing? Because it's Iron Man! And it's just like, that's not a reason.
Yeah, the thing with Bruce Prey, like I think that which came together to me, like to call it underrated, it was that at the end, that assemble that it creates between the characters, that
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen like in an ensemble movie like since the first Avengers. Like when you put characters together and interact in that way, I think Age of Ultron does a good way, Infinity War and everything does, but I don't think any other ensemble film about superheroes has come to that level of interaction between the characters that you're enjoying their interactions. So you want to see how they just interact. I don't know another word.
I think
Like
Justice
how-
League did it, but we don't need to have that debate. It's fine.
Do you think the Snyder Cut or?
Both! I like... Oh, Jesus. I don't need to get... Yes, I
Oh
like
no.
the theatrical.
Let's not. Okay, let's not.
That's
go to-
Abe's
to-
opinion. You don't have to like the camaraderie or the team and how they play off return Justice League. That's fine.
Oh no, we can talk.
I'm sorry if I'm cheating. I'm not trying to say that as like Abe's an idiot. Like, that is literally like, I like that, he doesn't. Like, but I will
liked
agree it is. I will agree it's, again, and that's why I wish most of the movie was that. I feel like I would have liked it better, but it feels that's why it kind of sucks. It's one of those, because it didn't do well at the box office. It sucks because I'm like, man, the sequel probably could have fixed a lot of the problems of this one.
And also, I think Harley Quinn works a character. She needs a foil. And if you see the animated Harley Quinn, which is it's done so great. I've only watched like 7 episodes of it.
Yeah.
Like, she has Poison Ivy there that interacts with her and bounces with her, and that's what she works. That's how she works in this.
Let's not forget that Harley Quinn got introduced in Batman the Animated Series to where even episodes like Harley's Holiday, she's playing off of a bunch of characters.
Yeah,
like, she was introduced to an ensemble world, and that's not a problem. Like, there are some characters that can, like a Batman, like that character you can have an entire story where it's Batman in the Batcave with his thoughts, and that'd be fine. Harley Quinn's not really one of those characters. She needs to either be fawning over the Joker and being, sometimes depending on the verges, violently rejected, or teaming up with Poison Ivy or Catwoman, or there's the movie where she teams up with Nightwing and Batman. Like, yeah, she's definitely a character that works well with other characters.
You need someone to react to her madness, and I think that's what the film does great. Like in the second half, especially what I don't remember the name of the actress. Ali Wong, I think is the name of the actress. I have the
little girl, or which character?
Yeah, the little girl. Oh no,
yeah, they had
Elia No, but the thing, what I want to say is, like, when she gets introduced to a film and she starts reacting like to what Harley does, like, it's when the film starts pick up pacing. Like, it's when it starts getting interesting. When you wanna see Rosie Perez. What's the name of the character? I don't remember. But like,
I wanna say, oh my god, this is gonna kill me. She is a character in Batman. Ramirez. Renee Montoya. Ramirez is, if I'm not mistaken, Ramirez is in Dark Knight, which is supposed to be Renee Montoya, but they won't let her be.
Okay, so I think we have discussed enough versus so that's the first one.
Okay.
I think people should like watch it with less critical eye. Sure, I understand we all watch.
We talked way more about your first one than I thought we were going to.
No, but like, I just want to say something that's like, when we watch as many, well, I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me. When you watch as many movies, you're less surprised as, like, for many times. Like, I haven't loved a movie since I don't remember when. Well, I love The Father, so it's been 4 months, about 100 movies I watched since then, that it's hard to, you start developing this critical film eye, and sometimes I think we have to turn it off as cinephiles, that we don't have.
Oh no, Abe, are you experiencing film student asshole syndrome?
I think so. I've been developing since the last 2 years.
Abe, we'll have to have a conversation about this off air, because this is a serious disease that is plaguing Letterboxd. The film student asshole syndrome, as coined by Steve Morris on the Cinephiles. Great podcast. I think it was Heat. It was Heat Part 1 where Steve Morris introduces this idea. This show will just be plugging other better shows.
Matthew, I have to ask you, what's your first movie?
Okay, the first one I'll bring up, Abe, you know what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Because The Shadow knows. The first one I'm bringing up is The Shadow from 1994, starring Alec Baldwin. This is the movie novelization right here. I also have the official movie magazine. Why do I have these things? Because I love this movie. So in the wake of Batman, there was this interesting notion to where they started going back to characters that were contemporary with Batman, or at least felt contemporary, like the Rocketeer, the Phantom with Billy Zane, and the Shadow. The Shadow actually being a character that Bob Kane cited as being one of the inspirations, which is really interesting, because you would think in the wake of Batman you would start doing Superman and the Flash and like all these characters like that, but they didn't really do that. And The Shadow it came out in '94, like I said. It takes place in, I want to say post World War One. I think it's pre World War II, if I'm remembering the years correctly. So Lamont Cranston, Alec Baldwin plays Lamont Cranston, who was in the army, and at the beginning of the film, he's like, I forget where in Asia, but he's like running like these opioid fields. I'm explaining this because Abe hasn't seen the movie. If you have seen the film, you can just skirt past this. But he's running like these opioid fields, and he's like a really bad dude. Like the opening scene, he like murders some other guy, a farmer, or he has him murdered himself. But then this ancient wise man comes to him and is pretty much like, yeah, Lamont, you've done a lot of bad stuff, so now to pay for it, you're gonna be given this power to where you can see what evil lurks in the hearts of men, and you're gonna have to like help people. And so essentially his powers are that he's able to cloud men's minds, which allows him to appear invisible. He can also like mind trick people. There's a great scene. His uncle is the commissioner of police in New York City, and his uncle's going to be like, I'm going to start a task force to find the Shadow. And Lamont and it's really cool how they depict it. He like sits back in his chair, and like this shadow goes over his eyes, and he's like, you don't want to start a task force. The Shadow is just a myth. And then the uncle's like, you know what? I'm not going to start a task force. Shadow's just a myth.
Look, Matthew, I haven't watched the movie, but I have to ask you to keep it on topic.
Okay, as I was explaining the plot, but I guess that's enough.
Oh no! I just wanna keep it online.
Yeah.
What do you think it's underrated? I know you love Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
I know you love your '90s. So I want.
Yeah, I do love Alec Baldwin. Especially this was '90s. This was post for October, when Alec Baldwin was still like a leading man. Before, unfortunately, and again, there's reports of like he didn't really want to be a star like this. He ended up being fine because he started doing like 30 Rock and SNL a lot. But regardless, I love this movie. I think it's underrated because no one really talks about this movie. When you talk about great comic book movies, people talk about, The Dark Knight, they talk about it. And even in this era, mostly people talk about the 90s as like the Tim Burton Batman, like Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. And maybe they'll talk about like Steel, but like I feel like this gets lost in the shuffle. And it's unfortunate because it's a great movie. The production design is incredible. The score is great. Baldwin's great. Penelope Ann Miller is really awesome. Tim freaking Curry is in this movie. Ian McKellen is in the film. It's just a great cast. It's also, I think something I like about it too is it's a very simple superhero movie. Like, world, superhero movies feel this need to like, everything's got to have a message to it. Like most of these comic book movies, they got, what is Captain America, the Winter Soldier trying to say about our society? And it's like, this movie, it's just like, hey, this is a fun, pulpy comic book movie. You go and watch this dude can turn invisible, and he fights Genghis Khan's, great grandson, and it's awesome. And there's great action. So yeah, I think it's underrated just because I feel like it's pretty forgotten. So if you haven't seen The Shadow, go and watch The Shadow, or I guess read the novelization.
I was gonna watch it, but I wake up way too late to watch it.
That's fine. Anytime you watch it is good. All right, what's the next movie you want to talk about?
Look, man, I had Batman versus Superman in mind. But I say, we can have a whole episode about how Snyder takes on the DC characters and the development, whatever. So I was thinking about this film that I remember watching back in 2015, opening night. I think Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man.
One of my favorite MCU films.
Oh, that's good. we're gonna talk about love then.
Top 3.
Oh, okay, that's not that high for me, but whatever. I think the first Ant-Man is really underrated. I don't think like it's this. I mean, pun intended, I guess. It's this small film, like that lives in the bubble of an MCU,
Yeah.
and it's about family and love, and there's this parallel between the relationship between Scott Lang and Caddy, and Hope and his father,
Hank.
which is Hank.
Hank.
Which, if you haven't watched the What If episode, just watch it. I just want to tell you that.
If it
But
came
there's
out
this-
yesterday or whatever, or today, I haven't seen it.
Okay, but there's this relationship that you really love, and I think what's the name of the villain? What's the name? of the
Yellow
actor?
Jacket.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. What's the name of the actor?
I don't know the name of the actor.
Okay, I don't remember. But I think he's a great villain. Like he makes sense to be like that powerful. It's
He's-
smart for.
He's a very stock villain. He's the, my mentor didn't want to like give me the thing, so I went on my own, and now I'm more successful than him. Like, but he's not bad at it. And again, when I say stock, I just mean like it's been done before, but it's not like
Yes, there's
that I
no
think it's
layer
bad.
villain that is
He's not
this
really
layered
layered.
villain.
He's kind of he's very surface, especially since he's a one and done villain. Like, I do think that is an issue of MCU films with their villains, and I'll quickly say this, and then we could go back to Ant-Man, to where they know this villain is one and done. Because MCU plans out like 900 movies in a row. They know this villain's going to be one and done, but they try to like do all this stuff with this villain to try to make you really care, or even just get really intrigued to start, and then they're dead and they never come back. And it's just like, well, what was the purpose of that, I guess. So I'm fine with him being kind of stock, because he serves the purpose of the movie. Like, continue
Also,
on
the
talking about Ant-Man.
But and something I love, like I think the thing that I love the most is the action sequences. Like it's so innovating, like from a visual standpoint, and you see how they created in Civil War, and you see how they grow in Ant-Man on the West, which I think I like it less, but I think the action sequences there are better. Like how creative they can get with this with the power of the character, and
Yeah,
and
I think it's also just an interesting evolution of film and how they're able to do this, because one of my favorite moments in this movie is when when Scott, or I'll just say, when Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket are fighting on the train tracks, and the Thomas the Tank Engine train is coming to him, and it's like, they're treating it like a giant train, and then you pull back, and you just see, like, the plastic train just topple over. Like, that's so cool, and it's so funny, because when you go back to, like, the original, like, Gulliver's Travels, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it's like, because of just the technology offered, once you shrunk down, you were shrunk down, and you stayed in that world until you couldn't really, like, the great thing about Ant-Man is he jumps back and forth between, he's really small, then he's big, then he's small, and you just couldn't do that back in the day, and so that makes the action sequences, like the fight with Falcon, or when he's breaking in and he's beating up the dude, like, it's just fun. And I will agree, I think especially with having Hope as the Wasp in Ant-Man the Wasp, they will just go a little bit further with that, but I still think the action is really fun in the first Ant-Man.
It's visually interesting. That's the most important thing, and that's something I think we like on action films, that sometimes it just become like formulaic, and when you introduce like new powers or colors or whatever, it just becomes more interesting to the audience, and when you can grow in it becomes better. Also, I think we have to mention my boy Michael Pena here.
Yeah, Michael Pena, he's great.
He's I remember seeing this comment that it's a stereotypical Latino character. I don't give a fuck.
I cannot comment. That is a white man. I cannot comment on that.
I don't give a fuck. He's funny as hell in this film. And when he retells the story of what happened in the Ant-Man movie, you're laughing your asses off. I remember in the theater and everybody was laughing. And when he does it again in Ant-Man, it becomes good. And I think this is one of the things that Edgar Wright left on the film, like the shadow of Edgar Wright. I think that's 100% Edgar Wright writing and what he wanted to do.
Oh, all you have to do is watch Shaun of the Dead when they're sitting at the table and they're talking about everything they're gonna do, or even just at multiple points when they're talking about the plan of like, okay, we're gonna go swing by, pick up my mom, and then we'll have a spot of tea. Like, it's this same, 100% that's left over from whatever Edgar Wright was developing. And that's not to take anything away from Peyton Reed. I think he did an incredible job, but that specifically, that's Edgar Wright's fingerprints on the film. And you bring up a point that I was going to bring up, which is the MCU, I think, gets saddled with this, it's stupid comedy, or it's like comedy that doesn't mix. I will agree, there are some movies where the comedy doesn't work. The comedy in this movie is incredible, and it works so well for the characters. I think my favorite moment of comedy in this movie is when Scott's in the car and he just got picked up from prison, and he's talking to him, and he's just like, look, man, I got a master's in electrical engineering. I think I'm like, okay, cut to, hi, welcome to Baskin Robbins. Like, it's so perfect. Like, and just the way, just like, and that whole scene, like the dude asking for like a pretzel, and he's like, it's Baskin Robbins. And then when he gets fired, it's just like, oh, I think that's really cool, but I gotta. He's like, yeah, but you're fired. He's like, what? What's going on? He's like, if you want to take one of those tropical freezers, I'll look the other way. And then it cuts to him walking down the street with the tropical freezer. Like, it's perfect. And
dude,
oh my god, even the moment when the Russian dude and the other guy are in the van and they roll up and there's all the cops and they just start slowly backing up. And they're like, back up. Like, it's perfect. Oh my god.
Can we agree that the Baskin Robbins scene is probably the best product placement used in a movie? Like, there's no shame in that product placement.
Because the other thing is, it's like, it doesn't feel like product placement. It just feels like,
it feels like reality.
Probably really get a job. Like, unfortunate. And again, it's unfortunate, which we don't need to get into a conversation about that. But like, yeah, it sucks. But like, it feels kind of real, but unfortunately Scott would wind up there. Oh, also, just talking about even more comedy, I love when Scott first meets Hank and he's talking to him about how, like, I used to do this stuff, but I don't want to just steal shit. He's like, I need you to steal some shit. Okay. Also,
Michael
de-aging on Michael Douglas, I don't think it's that bad. People should talk. I think it looks good. Having just watched a couple weeks ago Romance in Stone for the first time, it looks pretty good to how young Michael Douglas looks.
I honestly think the MCU does the best de-aging in films. Like, even when you're watching Star Wars, I don't think it's that smooth as the MCU. Well, I watch just in comparison, because the one comparison that
no. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just literally like, I'm trying to think of all the only two de-aging that's coming to my head are Hank at the opening of Ant-Man and Tony Stark from Civil War. I know there are more, but I'm saying, and the two de-aging is Luke Skywalker from Mandalorian and Leia from Rogue One are like the two that are in my head. I guess I'm still probably a little bit better.
Also, Johnny Depp. Well, have you watched the last?
No, I haven't watched the latest Pirates movie. No,
okay.
I do know. Yeah, they do de-age because like a big part of that movie is like young Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that de-aging is good, but I think the MCU has mastered, if you will call it one way, that technology, and it's just improved. They're able to age people. You know that Haley Atwell in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when she's aged. That's VFX. That's not makeup.
Really?
Yeah, that's mostly VFX. Like if you watch a B-roll of the film,
I think I
that's
heard that somewhere. Because that
Yeah.
does explain the Uncanny Valley with, like, she just has these really young looking eyes, but the rest of her is, like, really old, and you're like, something's not right. I mean, look, it's imperfect. It's not perfect. I don't think it's going to be perfect for another couple of years. And that's just, like, I mean, it's the same as, like, look at, like, the Death Star explosion from the original I'm talking about from 77, and then look at Krypton blowing up in 1978. It's IM1, but it's like, yeah, that year, the time of doing the Death Star to when they did Krypton, it's just like, you just learn more and you just evolve more. It's like, it's like, look, I'm going to talk about different D8 facts. Do you have anything else you want to say about?
Oh, I just want to mention about the D18. You forget your guy Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh wait, no, that actually might be the best. Like, cause it genuinely looks like young Kurt Russell. Like, I'm trying to remember, was it actually Kurt or was it like with Mandalorian? Because there was like Leia in Rogue One is a different actress. It's not Carrie Fisher, but like I know that Mark Hamill actually was, once he takes it off, he's actually there in, at least from what I know, I didn't watch the Disney Gallery, but from what I've seen, he actually, which I didn't think that was the case. I thought it was a different actor, but I guess that was just a different actor doing the stunts at the beginning.
I know, but it was Kurt Russell.
It was okay.
On set, yes.
Okay.
So
I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Shit, that probably shouldn't have been on my list as one of the more underrated. That's like my favorite MCU movie. Next to Civil War, probably, is Guardians 2. Yeah, I'm a Guardians 2 person over Guardians. And I love Guardians 1. But I'm a Guardians 2 person over Guardians 1.
Matthew.
What?
I also love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Ooh.
But I have to ask you that next question.
Yes.
This may get you $1 million or nothing.
Probably nothing.
What's your second film?
Okay, my second film, I'll be really quick about this. It's Dick Tracy from 1990. We didn't do a watch along for this. We've never done a watch. I think I was planning to do a watch along and then we stopped doing a watch along. Regardless, I have talked about this movie extensively on the internet. You can go find literally anytime we talk about comic book movies that's not specific to DC or Marvel, I bring up Dick Tracy. Why? Because I adore this movie. I adore the production. I adore the art style, the costumes. I love that this movie looks, and I'm sorry, I'm pulling stuff here. This movie looks like an old school comic book. Like here I got fantastic. Look at how freaking, look how colorful comic books were back in the day. This is what Dick Tracy is tributing in that movie, and I love it. I know some people don't like Warren Beatty. They felt like I really like him. I know some people think he's too old. I think he handles it great. I don't think he looks too old. That's just me. I love Al Pacino as Big Boy Caprice, which walked so Heath Ledger's Joker could run, because the first person to ever get an acting nomination Oscar was Al Pacino as Big Boy in Dick Tracy. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dick Tracy still holds the most Oscar wins for a comic book movie. It's either wins or nominations. It's one of those two. I think it still holds the record.
I don't know.
But regardless, this movie is so much fun. The music's really great in it. Danny Elfman's score and the two Madonna songs that are in it, I really like. There's a great mystery to it. It's a fun movie. And it goes back to what I was saying about The Shadow, which this movie came out the year right after Batman. This movie, it's not trying to set up a franchise. It's not trying to universe build. It's just like, hey, let's just have fun, let's just have a bad guy who's a bad guy. Let's just have a stoic hero who wants to do good. And yeah, let's just have fun for, 90 minutes, give or take. So yeah, Dick Tracy, 1990. Fantastic. All right,
I
Abe.
watched it. I watched it yesterday.
Oh, what did you think
And
about it?
how do I tell you? How do I tell you without breaking your heart?
Abe, you can say whatever you want.
No,
It won't break
just
my
kidding.
heart.
I honestly really enjoyed the film. Like, I thought it was interesting. You know, I think it's because it's hard for me, like, to go into those, how do I call it? These fantasy kind of worlds, because it's something that it always happens to me. It's hard for me. Like, that's why I don't enjoy, like, fantasy, like, medieval thing. I think I always need something on realism. I think it can be realism.
You need
how we call
realism.
it. Yeah, I need that thing, and it's something that that's why I battle with the Lord of the Rings. That's why I battle with some Star Wars.
Mhm.
It's I need that thing, and I think the Crazy takes that thing of the comic books and does it right. Also, just it kind of, my head kind of wrap around it, because the big heads and the flat
Yeah, all
and the
the
makeup and
yeah.
everything. That just takes me out of the films many times. But that doesn't mean I think, well, Dick Tracy came out in 1990, right? And
Yeah,
Batman was made 89.
yeah.
So
So it
what
was
makes sense that
being made. That's why people say it was a response to Batman, but it came out the year. There's no. It's like saying Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was a response to Fellowship of the Ring. They came out the same year. They're being more like, it's not a response. Like, maybe Disney caught wind that Warner Bros. Was doing this, but I don't really think it was the response. I think it's just because it was the first big comic movie to come out post Batman 89, and because it was so close. But like, yeah, they were working on the movie. Well, I'm
no,
sorry.
because I thought Dick Tracy was 91 until you say 90. So because I was
I
thinking
mean,
the
I
same,
could be
like,
wrong. I was
no,
wrong about the year that Sudden Death came out, but I will check one more time
no,
right
because I
now.
was
Yep,
thinking,
nope. Dick Tracy is a 1990 American action crime film.
because I was thinking about that, like, whoa, they definitely took some inspiration from Tim Burton's Batman of creating this world of color and being this, well, literally like its own like bubble of what the city looks, and the big
Yeah,
colors, and the yellows and the reds and the greens and every color they come. But you know what I love about? I think Madonna is great in it. Like,
yeah,
she
Madonna.
has this
Yeah, a lot of
film.
people crap on her, but I think she gives a performance. Breathless is supposed to be, and this is the thing people don't like about this movie. I think is they're like, oh, the plot is very simple. And it's like, I think the entire intention was to make it feel like a 1930s comic, which were, go back to and read old, like, Golden Age Dick Tracy comics, or Superman. Like, literally, a Superman comic from 1930s would literally be like, oh, I'm Clark Kent over here, and we're reporting on a story. Oh, there's a scientist trying to steal something. Runs into a boom, end of issue. Like,
No, no,
that's how
I
it
mean,
was, and she
I
fits
think,
into that. Like, she'd be one of those, like, you know, femme fatale, maybe not, but I think that's
no,
the
but I
wrong
was
definition.
thinking
But
that's film noir that I was thinking,
yeah,
that
no,
she's a
yeah,
fan of a tale. I think he takes inspiration, the way that he tells the story, the way it should shot,
yeah,
the theme of the movie, which I guess is the streamline of the Dick Tracy comics, which I have not read, but it does a really good job on doing that. Like, I was not amazed for it, but like, I never, like, I just watched because you tell me, because I probably wouldn't watch it because visually it does not interest me. As a aside, but now that I watch it,
yeah,
I totally understand what they're doing it and why they are doing it, and I really enjoy it.
yeah. It's just a fun movie, and then it's, yeah. Funny thing is about the makeup. I'll say one thing is, mm, uh, I'm sorry. Warren Beatty did try to look more like the comic, but it just wasn't working. So yeah. So, Abe, what is your next and actually your last pick for underrated comic book movies? And this wasn't any particular like, at least for me, it wasn't any order. It was more just like whichever ones I want to talk about off the top of my head. So,
Yeah, me neither. And this one came out. I told you that day we were planning this episode because we don't do any planning and we probably will never do unless we get a lot of money doing this show, which I doubt. But the last one, it's one that I discovered was a comic book. This film I probably watched it little less than 2 years ago. The film came out in 2015. I don't know what's a comic book. I think it's a graphic novel, you call it in one way, because it's diary of the diary of a teenage girl. Came out 2015, and it's about this girl that starts in the 70s. Starts having sex with his mom's boyfriend.
I can see why Abe likes this movie, just based solely on these intro plot summaries.
No, but and probably yes, because it's something I always no like.
No,
That's the thing.
yes.
No, but like those topics about sexuality.
No, wait a
as
second.
teenagers-
Hold on. Time out here. You said 70s and young
Yes.
women having sex. You like this because it reminds you of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Of course not. Maybe there's a connection. I will need to talk with my therapist about it. But
I'm so sorry. I ruined your thing. You had this great. You're trying to give me a plot story of this movie, and I just blew it. Guys, welcome to Simple Tricks and Nonsense. Look forward to this monthly.
and what I like the most of all the movie.
What I like
It's not-
about you.
No, it's and she's probably my favorite director working today. Like whatever she's doing now, with
Who?
her watching. It's Mario Heller. Have you watched any of her films?
No.
She
The name
directed
does not-
a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Oh. Oh,
Can you
okay.
forgive me?
You said director, not actor.
Yes, no director.
Okay, director. Okay, yeah, I did see that. That was a great movie.
Yeah, and I love and she directs the shit out of everything she's doing, and I love her for that. And I actually watched this movie the same day I watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, because I remember being blown away by it, and I said, "Fuck it, I need to watch more of her work." And I just went into, I don't know where I rented it, Amazon probably, Yahoo, and I rented it, and I watched it in my phone. For the first time, I watched it in my phone. And which is kind of weird, but like still, like you can see how effective a film can be even though you watch it in a, I don't know how many inches, 5-7 inches screen. So
Yeah.
and I don't think we don't talk about it that much, because I think it's underrated, because we don't talk about it because it's this small film, and it deals with a topic which is very sensitive to a lot of people, which I think it shouldn't. And I know it's wrong, like, I mean, objectively we want to say it, like it's totally wrong, the topic it's talking about, but
What, sex?
no, with a 15-year-old with a, I don't know, 30-something-year-old.
Oh, statutory rape.
Probably yes.
That's what they.
That's
that's
what-
what you
yeah.
call it. Eh?
Yes. Well, yeah, I don't know how.
That's
Well, yeah, it's
technically,
definitely that.
legally speaking, it's statutory rape.
Yeah, but like she treat, like, what I was reading about the comic book, it's like it's read with this innocence point of view, you know, as a teenager, you usually like romanticize a lot of things about, I don't know, whatever, what you want to grow up and love and having crush on people and whatever, and the film does that, and she takes that perspective, and you never I mean, you're questioned as a person because she never vilifies the rapist, if you want to call it, but she does not do that because I don't think she does that because the director thinks it's wrong, but because the film is talking about the perspective of the girl, of how she sees him, which is really, I think it's really interesting. And also there's these visuals about like these little drawings, and it's totally told from that girl's perspective. Also, Kristen Wiig is in this movie. She plays the mother, which is incredible.
Oh,
Like Kristen Wiig is
yeah.
very,
Well, Kristen Wiig is just one of those great
like
actors.
she does these. I mean, she does these comedies, you know, Bridesmaid, Ghostbusters, whatever. Barbie Star, Go to Brandcast or something like that. The one that came out this year.
When I watched the
she
first
does-
20 minutes of it and turned off.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but she
But
does
Bridesmaids
those
is
roles.
great.
Yeah, she does those roles and she crushes it like almost pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And I actually want to read the book. I was gonna buy it on Kindle, but I haven't. But like it truly captures this idea of being a teenager, and I love coming of age movies. Probably it's my favorite genre. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I love. Well, probably.
It's a solid. I mean, you got a lot of. We could probably do an entire episode because you got stuff like the original Karate Kid, Days of Confused, Breakfast Club. There's a few off the top of my head. Like, yeah, there's a lot of great coming of age movies.
The way back, though, I don't know. You have a ton. Comment
Yeah, you
your
have a
name,
ton.
Whatever. But
Even
like,
Air Bud's
this-
a coming of age movie.
Everybody wants some. I don't know. I don't remember what, but like it. I think you. If people should really watch it because it's a really great film. Is it this indie film? It lasts less than 100 minutes. I think. Yeah, 98
Yeah.
minutes. So you can watch in one sitting. Like you can order something from Uber Eats, and by the middle of the movie, your food, and then you finish your meal. By the end of the movie, you're good. So I really recommend it. I think you should watch it. You should watch it instead of watching. What were you watching this week? Ted Lasso. I saw you were
Yeah.
watching Ted Lasso. You tweeted about it.
Yeah.
So,
Binge
so-
season 1 in one day, and when we get off of this, I'm about to start season 2.
So you probably should watch. So Matt, I know the third film you were thinking about, which I think it's where we're gonna have the major disagreement, other than Birds of Prey. So
Not
tell
just
me.
you. This is gonna be what gets me. This is what gets no look. No one took my opinion ever seriously on this channel, but now no one's really gonna take that because my final film I will talk about is in my top 20 favorite comic book movies of all time. In fact, it holds the number 20 spot. I am talking about 2003's Daredevil, but director Scott, not the theatrical, the director Scott. I love this movie. Daredevil is one of my favorite Marvel characters, probably second only to Mr. Fantastic if we're talking about comics. Once we get into movies, Spider-Man gets... Oh, Spider-Man's really good. But regardless, I love Daredevil. I love Ben Affleck. And Ben Affleck played Matt Murdock. And I thought he's probably my favorite Matt Murdock. Charlie Cox is really good, but I really like Ben Affleck's interpretation of this character. I love... Oh my god. Michael Clark Duncan. No, it is Michael Clark Duncan, right? He plays Kingpin. He's awesome. His intro scene to where he's like talking to his little lackey is just like, you know that in ancient Egypt times, they would cut the tongues out of Pharaoh's guards. And he just knocks the shit out of his dudes. Colin Farrell as Bullseye is so much fun. That scene on the plane when he's sitting next to the old lady, and she's talking about like, and he did very well for himself on the internet, and he just flicks the peanut and just kills her. I guess there are problems with this movie, but the good to me outweighs the bad. But I get why everyone hates this movie. It's a very early 2000s movie. I understand that some people don't like Ben Affleck's role. That's perfectly fine. My intro to this movie was actually the Nostalgia Critic review, which is a really funny review. And I was at the library and I just decided to rent this movie and just finally watch it for myself. And I just got to the end of the movie and just like really liked it. And then it was a movie where when I wanted to relax, I would just pull on Daredevil for free. And maybe that's my rank. How I rank movies is wrong, but like rewatchability is a big thing. That's why it's in my top 20 because it's just like a very rewatchable movie. I think there are a lot of great moments. Like, I love the scene when Matt is getting into his echo chamber to go to sleep, and he's hearing the woman being attacked. And you actually, the way they do is they kind of show her in his room, but he can't do anything. Like, naked in his echo chamber, like by the time he would like get dressed and go, she'd be dead already, and just that kind of thing. Um Jennifer Garner's okay, she's probably the weakest thing in the movie. But it's mostly just when she starts to become like badass action hero. I don't like her, but I really like her and Ben Affleck's chemistry. You can kind of see why they got married from this movie because I think they do have really good chemistry. I love John Favreau as Froggy. I think he's great. Justice is served. Is all I'll say. Yeah, so you hate this movie, but oh my god, yeah, I love that moment where Kingpin's just like, "I'll get out, yeah, and I'll be waiting for you." Justice is served.
Okay.
But now you
So
talk
this is
about
the thing
why
with
I'm
this movie.
stupid.
No. You didn't tell me what the director's cut. You say Daredevil 03, so I don't have reference to the director's cut, so I won't bash it. The director's cut, but the original cut of the film.
I've only seen the theatrical once when I was younger. Like, I watched part of it, and then I didn't watch the whole thing until later on.
It was in TV several times growing up.
Yeah, that's me too. It was TV.
No, and I remember never being able to finish it. I hated it. That and Elektra. I just thought they were.
Yeah, Elektra looked like. I've only seen the deleted scene that Ben Affleck's in, and that's it.
Yes, but I tried to see through as a kid, and it was hard. And I've tried myself like to pull, like when I watched the Daredevil series that came out on Netflix, I said,
yeah,
I should give the first Daredevil a second chance. And I couldn't do it. Like, I just have these flashbacks of these scenes of colors that I don't like, that are kind of visually, because it's a very, as you say, it's a 2000 movie, and it has this visual style.
It's a very post-Matrix and the first X-Men film, yes. Which is weird because it came out the year after Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man, which was very colorful, but like we talked about Dick Tracy, in the defense of the people making Daredevil, they were making that movie at pretty much the same time that they were making Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure. So, like, they knew Spider-Man was going to come out, and people were going to appreciate that it was more colorful and everything.
It's oversaturated. I think the movie, the term, these colors, like these yellows. It has these yellows and the blues, and I just and I cannot buy Colin Farrell as the villain. As a kid, I remember looking at him and just seeing like, what the fuck's happening? Like, I have.
How do you kill a man without fear? By putting the fear into him. He is so watch him again. He's so much fun.
Okay, so I have to ask you about this. How much does the director's cut differ, like, from the original, of things you can remember?
Again, I only saw part of the theatrical when I was younger on TV, so I don't remember it. The director's cut is really the only full cut I've seen. From what I know, it adds a lot of stuff, and it makes the pacing better from what I've heard. Again, you'd have to go and look up. There are definitely websites where people compare the cuts. Or watch a video, I'm sure there is. So I don't know. I know they added stuff. Like, I know there is a post-credit scene in the theatrical that they end up putting into the movie near the end. So, again, I'm not really sure what was added, what was taken out.
Have you tried to watch the original cut?
No, because it's kind of pointless, because I like the director's cut, and it's like, I know it's really stupid, but like, so the special edition of Independence Day, it only adds 9 minutes of restored footage. But the one time I think I was at my cousin's house, and it was on TV, and we were watching it. But because I watch Independence Day every 4th of July, so I know that's and ever since I own the DVD, I only watch special edition. I recognize where all the moments that they cut are. So I'd be watching the theatrical being like, wait, where's this scene? Where's that scene? And it would, like, there's only so many hours in a day. If I'm going to watch Daredevil, I'm going to watch the cut that I like. I'm not going to watch a cut that removes stuff that I like, you know?
I understand, but I'm one of those that think
it's like Lord of the Rings fans. How there are some Lord of the Rings fans who, once they see the extended cuts, they can never watch the theatricals again.
Oh no, but like I just, this is a tangent, not about the film, but sometimes I watch movies that I know they're gonna suck just because I think it's necessary for me to watch it just to understand movies better. So it's that what that film created, the film student asshole syndrome,
whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah, but it does weird. So Matthew,
Abe,
I think it's time to do the most important thing. And we're gonna talk. No, we're gonna talk about how Superman 4. No,
we hit an hour.
4, no, Superman 4. The quest for, that's the next episode. How Superman 4 changed the comic book genre from beginning to end.
I mean, you're not wrong. It certainly did change a lot of stuff, particularly for a character who didn't get a movie until like 20 years later.
We're gonna analyze every film reference to it from its release date to today. So we're gonna watch every film made from 91, something like that, from 91.
The movie came out in 87.
Okay, 87. So we're gonna watch every film from 88 to 2000 to the. Well, I think we're gonna end the movie like what?
But Abe, when we have to look at the release date and then watch every movie from 87 that came out post.
Yes, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So
that's what you guys have to look forward to next month on Simple Tricks and Nonsense. We hope you enjoyed the first episode of Simple Tricks and Nonsense. Please suggest topics. You're not guaranteed. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if you pick music topics, not going to be able to talk about that unless we're talking about, like, Huey Lewis.
I have a topic for next week.
Next month. Yeah, by the way, guys, this is a monthly show. This is not a weekly show. So, keep that in mind. So, Abe, where can the good people find you online?
Around 25 on Twitter.
And you guys,
I really want to buy my tostada, so you can continue.
And you guys, as always, can find me at current_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovie6 on YouTube, and right here as host of Second Look and the Fandom Podcast, and now co-host of Simple Tricks and Nonsense with Abe. So that's that, and we'll see you next time. Justice is served.